Hello and welcome to the Nürburgring, our second stop on the 2019 World Tour calendar for the FIA certified Gran Turismo Championships. Now, back in March, a partnership was announced between Toyota Gazoo Racing and Gran Turismo. And in this, our second edition of the Trackside Talk, we are going to be discussing the origins of Toyota Gazoo Racing, as well as looking at the brand new GR Supra. Anyway, without further ado, let's welcome on stage series founder of Gran Turismo, Kazunori Yamauchi.
本日は皆さんのお時間を割いていただいてありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, everyone, for making the time to be with us today.
今日、このニュルブルクリンクではですね、前回のパリイベントに続いて、新型スープラのチーフエンジニアの多田哲也さんをお招きして、皆さんがよく知っているガズーレーシングとは何かということについてお話ししたいと思います。
So today, continuing on with the trackside talk we held at the Paris event, we've invited the chief engineer of the brand new GR Supra, Mr. Tetsuya Tada, and he's here with us today again to speak about the new Supra.
多田さん、どうぞ。ですね、今日は、はい、例えばルマン、優勝おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
So first off, the Le Mans, congratulations for your victory there.
それからですね、WRC もそうですし、あるいはナスカーもそうなんですけれども、最近、あちこちで、ガズーレーシングの名前でさまざまな活動を行われていらっしゃいますよね。はい。で、皆さんもあちこちでガズーレーシングっていう言葉を目にする機会すごく増えたと思うんですけれども、今日はですね、そのガズーレーシングがどうやってできたのかということを多田さんにお聞きしたいと思います。
はい、わかりました。
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
I believe everyone has seen Toyota's activities and Gazoo Racing's activities in the WRC, in NASCAR, and races all around the world. But today we really want to have Tada-san explain where is the origins of Gazoo Racing? Where did it come from?
このガズーレーシングというのはこのニュルブルクリンクで生まれたんですね。
そうなんですよ。そもそもこの、ルーツになるような活動はですね、このニュルブルクリンクで十数年前に、今社長の森蔵こと豊田明夫と、テストドライバーの成瀬博夢2人の師弟関係で、その運転の練習をね、はい、一つ前の A80 スープラでこのニュルブルクリンクの地で始めたところから全ては始まってるんですよね。
So actually, I've heard that Gazoo Racing originally started right here at the Nürburgring.
Yes, you are right. Actually, the activity of Gazoo Racing has started more than 10 years ago with Mr. Naruse, our test driver, and he was actually a teacher of Mr. Toyoda and has been started in the year 2007.
これ2007年の写真ですけれども、右側にいらっしゃるのが、トヨタの社長の豊田章男さん、左側にいらっしゃるのが、その当時のトヨタの、トップガンドライバー、テストドライバーの成瀬さんですね。
はい、そうです。
Okay, so this is actually a photo from 2007. On the left there, you can see pictured Mr. Toyoda Akio, the president of Toyota. And then on his right is actually the Top Gun driver of Toyota at the time, Mr. Naruse.
でこの時に、豊田章男さんは、スープラを作られるっていう決心をしたというふうに僕お聞きしているんですけれどもその時っていうのはどんな、ストーリーがあったんでしょう。
もちろんその当時ですね、他の自動車メーカーのその CEO もですね、ニュルブルクリンクを走ってる、そういう姿は目にしたんですけど、もちろん発売前の、新しい車のテストを兼ねて、テストをしてこう走ってるんですね。ところがその当時のトヨタにはスポーツカーをどんどん、やめてしまってですね、この A80 スープラしか、中古車のこのスープラしかですね、そのニュルに迎えてもらえる走れる車がなかったと。これがもう大きなスタートポイントだと思います。
So I had heard that Mr. Toyoda Akio actually decided to create the new Supra here on one of his stays at the Nürburgring. I wanted to know the story behind that.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the background of the story is at that time when some other automotive manufacturer was testing with a new prototype cars on this circuit. We had only sort of a used car, and that was a time actually Toyota but stopped producing sports car.
はい。で、この2007年に、豊田章男さんは新しいスープラを作るっていう、決意をされたと。
はい。私たち開発陣にもですね、新しいスープラはいつだということをその当時からずっとおっしゃってました。それだけではなくて世界中のトヨタの、ディーラーシップやですね、熱いトヨタファンからはですね、スープラはいつだということを本当にたくさん言われました。
So Mr. Toyoda really decided to create a brand new Supra then and there.
Yeah, we could actually hear from Mr. Toyoda. He really wanted to do this, to realize this new project of the new Supra for the whole time. And through the support of many fans and the dealer networks and worldwide, we have a time to develop the new Supra.
そして同じ2007年にですね、いよいよガズーレーシングという名前でこのニュルブルクリンクでの活動が始まります。
So again in 2007, Toyota's racing activity started here at the Nürburgring as Gazoo Racing.
ガズーレーシングという名前は本当にこのニュルブルクリンクで生まれたんですね。
So the name Gazoo Racing was born right here at the Nürburgring.
最初に走った車がこの車ですね。
今映ってますね。はい。これも中古のアルテッツァですね。
This is also the used Altezza.
Yeah, so this was the first car that they started racing here with.
そして、アルテッツァから、LFA につながります。
And then the racing activities went from the Altezza to the LFA.
このLFA がそのトヨタ社長がですね、開発途中から、その開発に本格的に参画した初めての車になっていると思います。
This car is actually one of the cars where Mr. Toyoda was involved from the early prototype, from the development of this car.
僕この LFA を開発している、テストトラックに行ったことあるんですけどね、その時まさに秋夫さんもドライブされていました。
そうですか。はい。
Yeah, so I've actually seen the LFA being tested at the Toyota's test tracks, and Mr. Akio himself was driving and testing the car.
Oh, you really? Thank you.
そして、LFA の時代がしばらく続きます。
So the LFA, its racing activity continued for a few years after that.
これは2010年ですね。
So this was 2010 pictured here.
はい。そして、2013年に、いよいよ多田さんが作られた86が登場するわけですね。
懐かしいですね、これね、86。
And in 2013 was the first year that we saw another creation of Mr. Tada here, the Toyota 86.
Yeah, I'm ashamed a little bit. Yeah, thank you very much for your kind words.
そして今年2019年、いよいよですね、最初に豊田章男さんが新しいスープラを作ろうと決めてから12年目、ようやく今年新しいスープラが誕生したことになります。
So, and then this year, in 2019, 12 years after Mr. Toyota Akio decided to create a brand new Supra, we're here today with the new car.
いや本当に長いことお待たせしましたという感じですね。
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Sorry to keep to wait so long time.
で実はですね、僕昨日、天気はすごく不安定だったんですが、生まれて初めてこの新型スープラのステアリングを握ることに成功しました。多田さんに乗せていただきました。
Yeah, so yesterday, the weather was kind of bad, but I had the first opportunity ever to actually drive the brand new Supra, and thank you to Tada-san for that, giving me the opportunity.
はい、ですからこの映像、昨日撮った映像ですね。
So this is actually a footage that we filmed yesterday on the roads here.
ちょうどねニュルの周りの実際にスープラが、開発の途中に走った道も随分走っていただきました。
So we had a chance to drive actually near that circuit area on the street, on the winding street. Thank you very much.
でね、僕乗った時の最初の印象というのは、まず普通になんて言うんでしょうね、こうぶっ飛ばしていない、速度域ではもう本当に高級車です。
Yeah, and my first impression after driving the car on regular roads at normal speeds, not really going very fast.
まあちょっと、
my impression was that it's really like a luxury car.
スポーツカーとしては微妙な、お褒めの言葉なんですけどね。
Yeah, it's a sort of very strange. Impression many times as a sports car. Yes.
でもね、すごく不思議なんですけれども、足はしなやかで、路面のバンプだとかそういったものは一切拾わないんですね。ものすごくフラットに走るんです。でフラットに走るんですけれども、ロールとかピッチングとかほとんど起きないんですね。それがこう魔法のような感じが僕しました。
そうですね、ものすごくフラット感が高いというかね、ボディが路面に対していつも平行にあるっていう、そういう車作りをすごく、気にして作ってきました。
Yeah, and when you're driving it, it's sort of strange, but the suspension movement is incredibly smooth, and you hardly feel any of the bumps of the road. But at the same time, the car stays entirely flat. You don't feel the car rolling or pitching at all. It's sort of like a magical experience where you're just having this incredibly smooth ride.
Yeah, this is one of our priorities too, that the car is staying on the road and not losing the contact and parallel to the street. And this is really one of the important points of this car.
このなんて言うんでしょうね、どこまでもフラットな感じというのは多田さんが狙われてた世界なんですよね。
そうなんですよ。E レースのスープラドライバーにもですね、リアルのスープラのドライバーにもちょっとヒントといいますかね、このスープラを操るヒントがあるんですけど、FR の車の運転のね一番の鍵は荷重移動ですよね。フロントリアの荷重をブレーキとアクセルでうまくコントロールして、コーナーの入り口から立ち上がりまでいつもニュートラルに車を保つというのが、一つ大きな鍵だと思います。
So, and this flat ride feel is really what you were aiming to achieve during the development of the car?
Actually, one of the key point of the development of this FR car is to keep the load shift constantly from the front to the rear, and this is very important to manage this load shift.
アンダーステア、オーバーステアの傾向の大きい車ほど大きな荷重移動が必要なんですけど、当然荷重移動している間っていうのはもう細かいタイムロスになってるんですね。このスープラは実はその大げさな荷重移動をしなくてもコーナーのターンインから立ち上がりまで常にニュートラルで走れるようになっています。そこを少し、考えながら運転するといいタイムが出るんじゃないかなと思います。
We usually, to realize the stability of the car, is we have to take care of the load shift. But this vehicle has got a very special technique, so we don't need to care so much about the load shift.
こ この後、いよいよ GR スープラカップニュルブルクリンク始まるわけですけれども、オンラインのレースを僕見ていてね、本当に皆さんすごい戦いをしてるんですよね。
本当にすごいですよね。もうこっちがなんかもう圧迫されそうな。
Yeah, so right after this, we're going to be seeing the GR Supra Cup at the Nürburgring. But there have been some incredible battles going on in this racing series.
I'm really excited to see this. Yes, yeah.
今回僕は、そのあたりを少しドライブさせていただいたんですが、月曜日の夕方にですね、なんとこの車で北コースを走ってもいいというお許しをいただいたので、いよいよこの車が本当にこうプッシュした場合にね、どういう、車になるんだろうと今からワクワクしてます。
So I've had the opportunity, obviously, like I said, to drive it around the streets, around the Nürburgring. But I've actually got permission to drive that car on the Nürburgring track on Monday in the late afternoon. So I'm really looking forward to what the car is going to feel like when it's really pushed to the limit.
じゃあそろそろレースの時間です。
So it's almost time for the race.
では多田さん、どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, Mr. Tada, for being here with us today.
Well, absolutely fantastic. Great to hear from both Kazunori Yamauchi and Tetsuya Tada. Fantastic. Just by way of a round of applause, who's excited for some GR Supra Cup racing? There we go. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Let's get ready then, shall we? The first race of the Toyota GR GT Supra Cup is about to get underway. Don't miss it.
Hello and welcome to the FIA Certified Gran Turismo World Championships, coming to you here from Germany at the Nürburgring. Let's hear it. I'm very, very excited. I mean, we like to condense a lot of driving into these World Championships weekends, but this time we thought, let's cram in some more. Let's add some extra more. Obviously, because we have a new car, we thought we'd just have another little exhibition match with some of our best drivers. Before we get into that, let's talk through a little bit about the car itself. Tom, why don't you take the lead on that?
Yeah, the Toyota GR Supra, brand new car for 2019. And I tell you what, it is going to be very, very exciting to see how this fares. We were looking a little bit at it. You can see some footage of the car as itself at the moment. And I actually had the chance to speak to Mr. Supra himself back in Paris at the first World Tour event. And a brilliant car it is. Front engine, rear wheel drive, perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Jimmy, I reckon you're pretty excited about this as well.
Well, I mean, definitely faster than my cars at home, I'll give you that.
I mean, that's most things are faster than my cars at home.
You haven't got one, have you?
I have a car.
Horrible to me, you are. But yeah, the great thing about this GR Supra Cup is that all the drivers are in the same car, so completely equal footing in terms of machinery, so it's all down to driver skill, which is what I love about this cup.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any kind of predictions? Obviously, we've got some like hot names from, obviously we've got Portilla, we've got Coque Lopez, Yamanaka, like some big names from manufacturers and from the Nations Cup. How do you think they're going to do?
Well, it's difficult to tell, really, because this is really the only opportunity they have to be in exactly identical machinery, and that's where, of course, driver skill comes into it that little bit more, and drivers who are a little bit faster over one lap might be quicker in the early stages of the race. Towards the race distance at the end, though, it might change things. So it's going to be very unpredictable and kind of hard to tell who's going to be where at the moment.
Well, we do have a little bit of information to base that upon. I think we got some of the best bits from actually round 5 we can take a look at, so talk us through.
Dual Wield is still in the lead for now. Oh, and side by side all the way through. Oh, and Dual Wield's had a spin and he's into the barriers. Dual Wield is off. Race leader off. Penalty for Viper Zero as well. But let's return then to the driver who picked up 3rd place and who is getting all out of shape and is pushing far too hard. And Fuvaros is going to pick up 3rd place.
There we go, around the outside. It's probably a little bit of speed there trying to get it in, but I think Dual Wield has it. He does have the place. So up into 1st place.
This is what Parata didn't want to do. Let's have a look at the replay.
There we go, a couple on the inside here, and oh yeah, just a little bit too late on the brakes. I think maybe he was it's a combination of him being a bit too late and maybe for us being a little bit too early. He's trying to go around the outside, but now he's on the
carousel.
Line. He's on the bad line, so he's got
no.
They're both trying to.
Oh, wow!
Watch him moving. He's sideways all the way through, gathers it up, and that already for me is move for the race.
I mean, any kind of big shocks from what's happened already then? What was kind of standout moments for you?
I mean, that was very, very exciting, actually, and seeing some of the racing, you know, it was brilliant, really, more than anything. The usual drivers who you'd expect to be at the top were kind of up the top and fighting at the sharper end of the grid. Jimmy, you were there commentating on that race in particular. What stood out for you?
Definitely that move around the outside we saw in the highlights. I've never seen anyone go around the outside of the carousel before and dip back in and somehow get the move done. And I think you should get a promotion just for that. That's it, done. Winner. We'll cancel it from there.
I feel like we should have some like extra awards just for kind of unique moves, unique strategies,
idea,
you know, medals for that.
Big old trophy or something.
I mean, come on, we could always do with more trophies. Yeah, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Let's talk us through that then, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got Cy Bishop there from Australia. Also, Kevelham as well, the Dutch driver. Yamanaka from Japan, who we were mentioning a few moments ago. Andrew Brooks Bruzy, a new name who's in the field as well. He's we'll mention him in a few moments' time, give you some more information. Kawakami, Mariglino, Coque Lopez, Beauvoir, Solis, Fabian Portilla, and Lakovsky as well. 2 names that will probably be familiar in 11th and 12th position.
So why don't we get this race kicked off? Let's take a quick look at where we'll be going.
Just popping over to our circuit, our drivers will be qualifying at the Nürburgring GP circuit, which is the small version of the track we have here at the 24 hours of Nürburgring, of course. We have the big, the Northern Loop, and the full track, the Nürburgring GP circuit. They're going to be on that and then transitioning to something a bit different for the race itself. Yeah, absolutely right. Well, the 24-hour race is, so 24-hour circuit, rather, is where the race is going to take place, which, of course, is where the 24-hour race here is taking place. So it's going to be a unique challenge. That it's 2 laps. It's a very, very long lap as well. Lots of unique corners, some that are kind of single file, others that are wider. I mean, Jimmy knows this circuit like the back of his hand because every single video he does on his YouTube channel is on it. So, you know, he's probably the person that can best guide us through that. Yeah, been around here a few too many times, I think. So the GP circuit was, well, designed for that. It was designed for Grand Prix racing. And then we have the world-famous Nordschleife for the Northern Loop, which is about 7-8 minutes of crazy single-file racing. We say that, but big curves. But anyway, guys, we're going to transition now into the qualifying session. So, again, we are qualifying on the GP circuit, so not doing the full Nordschleife. Otherwise, we'd be here for a little while, wouldn't we? And it'll be Cy Bishop who leads us off there in his red GR Supra. Let's see what he can do here at the Nürburgring GP circuit. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see how Cy is getting on. I actually spoke to him yesterday, caught up with him about his first time at the World Tour events and asked him how he was feeling about it. I'll tell you what, he was very, very excited. He's thrilled to be here more than anything. He said, you know, the jet lag is a little bit of a killer, but it's great to be at a World Tour event for the first time. We're very keen to see how he will be getting on over the course of this qualifying session. Of course, it's the GP circuit as well, as you say there, Jimmy, so lots of unique challenges. Quite a few tight and twisty corners, very few long straights here as well, and also very limited overtaking opportunities, really, let's be honest. Yes, definitely. I mean, on the Nordschleife itself, on the GP circuit, where our guys are just qualifying right now, it's all about getting a clean lap, and that they've been a bit of a staggered start, so there shouldn't be any traffic on their laps. But let's talk about the car itself a little bit. So GR Supra RZ from 2019. We actually have one here in the arena. It's very pretty indeed. But the main thing that I like to speak about when we're talking about these Supras is they're road cars. They're not racing cars. They're on sports hard tyres. Not very much downforce. In fact, very little downforce, if any at all. And a little bit heavier than you expect from a race car. So it's a different kind of driving, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it is. And I tell you what, I've driven this car on GT Sport, not in real life, sadly, but I tell you what, it is very, very tail happy, to put it very mildly. So let's keep an eye out and see whether we see any good sideways moments from these drivers. There is Cy Bishop, the driver who we're looking at on your bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Only a 5-minute qualifying session for these drivers here, Jimmy, and it is very crucial to get those laps in early on.
Definitely short and sweet round here, and if you mess up one lap, then due to the tyre wear, we have a tyre wear rate of 9 times around here, so you really do get only one stab at a good flying lap on the tyres, then yeah, things can be over very quickly. So looking nice and clean so far is Cy Bishop. It's kind of hard to gauge the pace compared to the other drivers so far. Because we've not seen any times come in as of yet, but being subtle on that throttle is good in this car. Although I like to say, in the road cars, a little bit of slip, it's not such a bad thing, is it?
No, absolutely not. You can always use it to your advantage, really, can't you? And this car being quite rear biased in terms of how it has to be driven, you will see some very unique driving styles that will be taking place. Drivers perhaps getting a little bit more sideways than you might expect, and there's a bit of a showcase of that with Cy Bishop getting sideways out of the chicane, coming down in towards the final corner, the Coca-Cola curve, as he goes through and gets ready to set the first flying lap of the session. Don't forget, only a 5-minute qualifying session for this Toyota GR Supra Cup, so these early laps are very, very important indeed. Cy sets a 2:18.516. Now, what about Keppelham? He's the next driver on the road, and what can he do? Well, he's a little bit slower by just under 0.2 of a second. Now, Yamanaka, this is a bit of a benchmark here for the Japanese driver. We know how quick he has been in the World Tour events, and he does absolutely obliterate the time. Goes to the top of the timesheet, a 2:18 flat there, Jimmy.
It's not a bad time at all. Time's coming in thick and fast. So Andrew Brooks from Canada setting a time. A little bit off Yamanaka, 3/10 in fact. Here comes Brutzi in the silver GR Supra coming around the last corner now. It goes on forever when you're in a car like this, and we'll just drive to the runoff on the left there. Kicks up a little bit of gravel. That won't help his exit. Now we'll drive to the line, straight as line as possible to the line. 2:19.5, not a good time for the Brazilian there.
No, and not a lot of time to improve there either, but Mariglino absolutely wipes the field clean. A 2:17.617. The Italian driver is on fire in these cars, and Coque Lopez not too far away either. So the Spanish driver in the very bright pink liveried Supra there, going second position. Front row of the grid, it stands for him. What about the rest of the field as they come over the line? What about Beauvoir? Can he do anything? No, he can't. He's down there in 8th position. And then we get the rest of the drivers coming over the line. Danny Solis there, the American driver, just inside the 2:19s. So it's not anything to write home about for him there so far, but Mariglino is the man we want to watch. What about Fabian Portilla? Well, he goes up into 5th position there, Jimmy, so that's not a bad lap there for Portilla, but these guys are only going to have really one more flying lap at this, aren't they?
Yeah, there goes Cody Lutkovsky, one of the favourites, I think it's fair to say. He goes into 3rd position at 2:17.8, so only 2/10 off our provisional pole sitter. But the thing is, in these cars, Tom, a small mistake costs you a lot of time. All about momentum in these kind of cars, because it's very easy to scrub off speed if you're getting a little bit too sideways. So one missed apex, one late braking zone, that's 2/3 gone just like that. So that's why we're seeing, I think, a little bit of a disparity in lap times between the top and the bottom. There's still only 2 seconds in it between 1st and 12th position, and here is someone looking to try and improve but isn't on track to do so right now. Yamanaka, 4/10 off at the moment. Yamanaka very prolific in the GR Supra Series online, so might be pretty disappointed with being only in 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and this lap isn't going to be anything to write home about either. Cy Bishop there goes up into 6th position, so he improves 1 place, knocks Fabian Portilla down into 7th place. What about the next driver across the line? It'll be Keppelham rather, and he goes up into 5th place right at the very end of that session. Good job there for Keppelham. Yamanaka, again, it's not been a particularly brilliant lap for the young Japanese driver. He improves in time, but sadly not in position. Andrew Brooks, meanwhile, he's just 0.8 of a second off. He's 6th position. That'll be surely where he's going to start, but these guys will have one more bite at the cherry here, Jimmy. So they're getting over the line just before the timer does begin to run out. And then we will see who is going to line up where. Only a 5-minute qualifying session, this one, bear in mind. So, as we said, it is very crucial to get these lap times in. You can see 2 Brazilians watching on there. Igor Fraga on the right-hand side of your screen, our reigning Nations Cup champion. What about Kawakami? We haven't mentioned him over the entire session, and he improves up into 5th position right at the end of that. Coque Lopez, meanwhile, is getting all sorts of out of shape.
That's what happens when you just stand on the throttle on the exit of the corner. They're desperate to try and get to the line and improve, but now he's ruined that lap and the next one, so that's That's Lopez's session really over.
Wow.
He goes fast. That's a bit of a surprise for us up here on the commentary table. 2:17.7, so only about half a tenth there off the top two. So here comes Lukowski. Can he improve? It's his last chance to do so, I think. He's using all the track and a little bit more there on exit. So last corner, tip the car in. And here's a replay of what happened to Lopez, actually, before we get to that. So he goes a bit wide here. What I'm going to say is he got in the front a bit too early.
Yeah, a little bit wide.
Gravel.
Yeah.
Tried to do a bit of landscaping out there, but the Supras aren't too good at that. Lukowski does set a new time. I think it's the fastest time. It is a 2:17.5. So whilst we're looking at Lopez there, Lukowski comes in and takes provisional pole. What a time there from the Australian.
Very, very impressive stuff there from Cody Lukowski. Cy Bishop has been given a half-a-second penalty, presumably for exceeding track limits, so this lap won't be an improvement for the Australian driver. But as you said there, Jimmy, Lukowski will take provisional pole position unless Mariglino can do anything on his final flying lap. Just have a look and see whereabouts the Italian is. Here he is, just coming down in towards the left-hander, so he's still on a final flying lap, and he's up at the second sector as well here. So the Italian driver, Sarante Mariglino, brand new to the World Tour, his first time ever visiting us, and he is doing great things behind the wheel of that Toyota GT GR Supra.
Traffic, Tom. He's got traffic in front of him there. There's Kawakami in front of him and Brizzi, the Brazilian driver, so he might benefit from this. It depends how far they get down the straight. They have a little bit of a toe down here, so we'll go into the toe, get a couple extra Ks down the straight and hopefully improve his time. Here's Yamanaka. Can he improve from 6th position?
He was fastest in the second sector, Jimmy, but he lost time in the final sector. 4th position for Yamanaka at the checkered flag. What about the rest of the drivers coming through?
Mariglino's still up, Tom, so there's still a good chance here the Italian driver could snatch pole away there from Cody Lukowski. Kawakami is slow on the exit. It's going to force Mariglino to take a tighter line into the last corner. That might hinder him somewhat then. So here we go. Let's see if that slowed the Italian down. He comes up to the apex of the corner, off to the exit, now drives to the line. Can Mariglino go up into first place? Pole.
Over the line he comes. Oh, he doesn't. He loses it. You were right, Jimmy. Absolutely right. That final corner looks like it was what cost him 0.2 of a second. Regardless, he will start in second position, so that's not a bad lap time there at all, Jimmy. Not a bad starting position, still the front row of the grid, but, well, it's a case of what could have been for the Italian driver, isn't it?
Be a bit frustrating for him, but like I said, front row, I mean, second place is still a very good place to end up now. Here is our pole sitter at the moment, looking like it's going to stay that way, but can he improve? Cody Lukowski then coming out of the last chicane, again coming around to the last corner, nice and easy. Yeah. And from what I'm seeing, it looks like he's actually down on his time right now, so I don't think it's going to be an improvement for Cody, but a strong session though, John.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff from the Australian, living actually in Macedonia as well. Over the line comes Cody. Yeah, he's only 0.2 of a second slower though, bear in mind. That would have still put him in second position on the grid. A round of applause from the World Tour competitors who are sitting behind the stage here in the Nürburgring. Very impressive stuff. You can see thumbs up there from stage left of Fabian Portilla. And, well, Cody Lukowski, now he starts on pole position. So let's see what he's going to be able to do under race conditions there, Jimmy. It was an interesting qualifying session, that. And, of course, as we mentioned, crucial to get those quick laps in early on in that session to try and get your bearings.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the most disappointed driver is probably going to be Yamanaka. We kind of expected him there to be on the top row, but didn't quite manage it. Maybe saving his best for the race. Some drivers are better racers than qualifiers.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier on, didn't we? Definitely. You know, over one lap pace doesn't necessarily mean that your race pace is going to be that good. Anyway, let's get ready, shall we, to go for the GT GR Supra Cup race.
So we're going to pop over now to Cody Lukowski, our pole sitter. Cody, well done first of all. How is it transitioning to this GR Supra, driving Group B cars recently? How's this transition doing you?
Drive this Toyota Supra, you can really put your foot down when you want to. It controls really nicely in the corners. It has a little bit of the weight shifting while you brake, but it's nothing that practice doesn't solve.
Well, I'll tell you what there, Jimmy, actually, I was able to hear Cody just in my right ear because we had some problems with the audio there. Yeah, it's only just about, but yeah, he was just saying how different it is to drive these supercars compared to the Group 3 machines, as you were saying. So great to hear from Cody there. Thank you very much for talking to us there, Cody. Sorry we couldn't hear much of you, but hopefully we were able to get the gist of what he was saying. Let's have a look at some replays meanwhile, shall we, from that qualifying session and see what the key moments were. So, this is down towards the first corner. These are the first flying laps coming in here, Jimmy.
Yep, so we had some early times there. Maraglino, we saw his pace early on. Didn't really expect it, to be honest. Not to sound horrible, but we didn't see him at the top there. But here was Latkovsky on his flying lap, on his last lap, so to speak. He was 2 tenths down, but took it to the line anyway. And here was Maraglino trying to go better, but of course held up a little bit there by Kawakami on his flying lap until the Italian would be a little bit frustrated with that. But still second place, nothing to sniff at.
No, certainly not. This is Latkovsky coming over the timeline right at the very end of that session. Although he didn't improve, he was only a couple of tenths of a second slower than his best lap. And you can see, there we go. I think he was pretty chuffed with that result. Not bad at all, by all accounts. Let's have a look at the qualifying standings then after that session, shall we? So your front row is Latkovsky and Maraglino. Row 2, Lopez and Yamanaka. Row 3, Beauvoir and Brooks. Row 4, Kevelham and Kawakami. Row 5, Bishop and Portilla. And then the 6th and final row of the grid, Solis and the Brazilian driver, Brizzi.
We still very much have the race to go. Of course, that's why I think we saw Latkovsky being a little bit, maybe not exuberant, but just happy that he got the pole. But big race here, so.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you might be wondering, actually, on those standings, why you'll see some drivers with the nationality flags next to their names and some with the team flags. Basically, the way this was decided, we took the top 3 drivers from the Toyota team in the Manufacturer Series, top 3 drivers from the Lexus team, and then the rest were decided based on the regions and so on and so forth. So it's a really fair way of doing it, and it means we get the cream of the crop, really, racing here in this GR Supra Cup.
Exactly, that's what we want, isn't it? But completely different challenge coming up for our drivers. Now, we've qualified on the Nürburgring GP circuit, but now we go to the Nürburgring 24-hour layout, which is what is being raced here this weekend. Completely different kettle of fish, and you go from what is essentially a very nice, very calm GP circuit to one of the hardest circuits in the world. So as you can see here, our drivers are going to be on the sports hard compound of tyres, as I mentioned before, so a bit slippy when on the edge. 9 times tyre wear as well, so on the second lap, those tyres are not going to be too great.
No, certainly not. It's going to be very interesting to see how they will fare, how they will handle tyre wear and the fuel consumption as the car gets lighter, but also in turn more slippery as well, with the fuel beginning to run down. So let's keep an eye out and see how it will go, shall we? Then let's get ready to go racing. It's time for the exhibition race for the Toyota GR Supra Cup. So then, the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit plays host to the GR Supra GT Cup exhibition match here on Gran Turismo Sport at the Nürburgring. The 24-hour race is taking place in real life here, and we've got the 24-hour circuit with absolutely identical machinery. Here's the grid, Jimmy.
Latkovsky, of course, our pole sitter. A great job for him. He'll be looking to lead from the front with no challenges, or he hopes so anyway. Maraglino, second place there. Could say robbed the pole position, but he'll be happy with second. Coque Lopez in third, a little bit acrobatic on his last flying lap, but good to see him so far at the grid. Yamanaka may be disappointed with that position, but fourth place is still a solid starting position behind him. Beauvoir, a new name to us here, but showing that he definitely can hang with the big contenders. Andrew Brooks there, our Canadian driver, in sixth position. Then behind him, down in seventh, is Kevelham, our Dutch driver, another new name to the World Tour events. We go down to Kawakami. He struggled a little bit in qualifying there, looking for him to do a little bit better in the race, but behind him is Cy Bishop, someone who thought would be a bit stronger here, but he can maybe try and make that up in the race. Fabian Portilla, big name to be starting so far down. He'll definitely be disappointed with that. Down 11 is it's Solis, the American driver. Great to see him at another event. And then rounding out the end of the field, the Brazilian driver, Brizzi, in the silver GR Supra RZ.
So then, the drivers ready to get their rolling start underway here at the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit. Cody Latkovsky leads the field away. He has got a clear track in front of him, and at the end of these 2 laps, he's going to want to have that clear track at the very end as well. Let's see what will happen, though. It is going to be very, very exciting indeed. We can just see from our commentary position him getting the car ready, getting himself psyched up as well as we get ready to get this race underway. Now, Jimmy, you have seen quite a lot of action here with this Toyota GR Supra Cup. And what are we going to be expecting going into this first lap?
Well, what we've seen when we're racing here, everyone is quite calm and collected. I say that, they want to try and get by the person in front of them before they get onto the northern loop. Otherwise, you're going to end up stuck behind them. But the Dot and Jehovah there at the end, that is the overtaking spot. Slipstream there, get up behind someone and use that draft to get by. We might see a little shenanigans here. Anyway, rolling start here at the GR Supra GT Cup exhibition match. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely right. So the drivers then ready to get the race underway. The Toyota GR Supra GT Cup exhibition final is underway here at the Nürburgring, and down towards the first corner. Who is going to manage to hold on to the lead, or who's going to try and take the lead? You can see everybody darting into the slipstreamers. 12 cars almost becomes one down towards the first corner. Lakowski is challenged by Mariglino, who's trying to go all the way around the outside at turn number 1. That is very aggressive early doors. He has to hold off his charge for a couple of moments. Positions changing as well between Kawakami and Kevelham, and actually Mariglino has been challenged by Koke Lopez here as well. Lopez in the pink car there, going towards the outside of the track and trying to find his way past here as well, and he does so. A brilliant move there on Mariglino. Koke Lopez into second position on the opening lap.
Yeah, very opportunistic there by Lopez. I think Mariglino thought, oh, you know what, I can get the lead here at T1. Overshot it slightly, which allowed Lopez to kind of slot in and take second away. So Lakowski will lead us down to the Dunlop hairpin for the first time. Lopez behind, and Mariglino in third, Yamanaka in fourth position. You see Lakowski there getting the car very sideways down the bottom of the course and nailing the throttle on an exit and using all the runoff he can to try and get the best exit as possible. So it's Lakowski, Lopez, Mariglino behind him. And this is the first time through the GP circuit. And of course, once we get to what was the last corner for the GP circuit, we take a bit of a left-hand turn, Tom. We go on to a different track.
Absolutely right there, Jimmy. And it is going to be very interesting to see how the drivers will fare as they get onto the Nordschleife circuit. The GP layout is pretty well known, whereas I say the Nordschleife, it's not like it's not well known by any stretch of the imagination, but perhaps less so by some drivers than others. So let's keep an eye out and see what will happen. And it's an interesting one, isn't it, going onto the Nordschleife, because some parts of the lap, Jimmy, it's really very much one at a time through there. You can't really do many side-by-side challenges, but there are other parts where the track opens up and you can mount that charge.
I'd say it's pretty much the majority of the track, Tom, is like that. You go from this new modern layout, which is designed to overtaking, to a layout which is, well, a bit of a relic nowadays, and it's very much designed for old historic racing, so it's very hard to get by. Also very fast flowing corners, high curbs as well, so getting alongside someone is very difficult, and passing someone even more so. I've just noticed a penalty in the field there. That's from Bouar. Already have a 1 second penalty, so that means when we get to the penalty line at the end of the lap, he's going to lose a ton of time, because that penalty line is right at the start of the long back straight.
Far from ideal. Yamanaka very deep on the brakes there, almost into the rear end of Mariglino as they come through the left-hander. He was just able to hold off hitting the back of the Italian driver, but he's looking pretty aggressive here, Yamanaka. As Jimmy said earlier on, didn't necessarily perform in qualifying as well as he would have liked, and he's on the charge to try and make it up under race conditions, and he's doing a really great job there, actually, up into fourth position already on this opening lap, so he's made some good ground, and he's looking pretty racy here there, Jimmy.
Well, Yamanaka, known for his aggression, I think it's fair to say. The Italian commentators refer to him as the samurai, which I'm not sure if that's a good message to take onto the track or not, but a very quick guy in his own right, and if you need someone to make a place on the Nordschleife, it's going to be Yamanaka. He's the type of guy to make that move. But anyway, slipstreaming right now, downhill, one of the fastest parts of a circuit this, and we throw it over to the right. Now watch these cars, they slide through this left-hander. You chuck it in, don't go too hard into this circuit, it's very easy to go wide and go onto the grass, and heavy on the brakes, and nose of the car dips down, and then you try and tuck it in there round the long right-hander at Arenberg. Now down the hill, this bit's a bit like a roller coaster, you kind of bounce between the curbs through here. Very important to take one line and one line only. I've only ever seen someone try and overtake downhill once and ended up in a massive crash. I would not recommend it.
No, it's absolutely right there. As you say, Jimmy, I tell you what, I'm watching Cody Lakowski from our commentary position, who handily is right next door, actually. And I tell you, watching him drive is like watching somebody push a spoon through treacle. He's so smooth at the wheel.
You watch a lot of weird things, Tom, in your spare time.
Yeah, can't doubt that, Jimmy. I've got to be honest.
The weird part of YouTube. Yeah,
Here's a bit of a replay, by the way, from 11th to 12th. That's Bruzzi having a bit of an off-track excursion and sending it straight to the scene of the accident, sadly, there for the Brazilian driver. He's managed to make up a bit more ground now, and it's now Cy Bishop and Danny Solis, the drivers, who are behind him. But that could have been far worse there for him. And look at this train now of 4 cars breaking away from Andrew Brooks there in 5th position.
Yeah, Brooks needs to try and get onto the back of this train, because once you start falling too far back, you lose the draft. And round here, the draft is very important, especially if you're trying to stay with the faster cars. So really, at this point, the top 4 drivers are trying to think of how they're going to be positioned coming onto the back straight. It's a very interesting game of Supra-based chess there, as Yamanaka gets it wrong, going over the grass. There's a chance he might pick up a penalty for that, because that could be considered a shortcut, but I think the game is going to be lenient today. But again, a very easy mistake to make, and it shows that these drivers are on the edge, and they really are pushing hard in these people. So here's what happened to Danny Solis. We saw he was towards the back of the field here. Comes up the hill, oh, gets on the grass, and that's it straight away. Big slide there. Somehow keeps up the barriers. No, he doesn't. There he goes, boff in there, as does Kawakami in front of him. So
almost going off in sympathy, really, wasn't he? Oh, hello, Lukovski's gone a little bit wide, and here comes Koke Lopez. They're running side by side now. Is Lopez going to try an audacious move around the outside? He runs it a bit wide, and that's going to allow Mariglino into the charge as well. So this is becoming a near three-way scrap for position. Lukovski somehow manages to hold on for his position.
Mariglino's still there on the outside, Tom. He's going to be on the inside for this next one. A bit of a biff there. The Spanish driver hard braking. They both just about make it 2-2. Yamanaka sees his opportunity as well. Goes up the inside of Lopez. And Lopez, after a move to the lead, is now fighting for third position. So Mariglino goes up into second. Lopez in third. Yamanaka in fourth. And all the while, Lukovski's thinking, oh man, I'm glad I wasn't part of that.
Yeah,
still fighting, Tom, I think, in the background.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're still side by side. And Yamanaka is trying to take the long way round, trying to go around the outside. They're about to come up towards the carousel section, riding on board with Yamanaka. And you can see, Yamanaka's off. He's run a little bit wide. That's going to cause him to lose momentum. And the top two are almost beginning to splinter away by a couple of car lengths. Lukovski and Mariglino still dueling for position. We've seen this very much one at a time through the carousel section, but we also have seen in this Super Cup a move being made there as well. Surely Mariglino's not going to be thinking about anything there.
Yeah, getting a little bit aggressive, I think, at the moment. You're only halfway around the first lap, boys, so you've got a long way to go in this race. But Mariglino still looking up the inside, I think just trying to show himself in the mirrors of Lukovski, trying to keep Lukovski busy looking backwards instead of forwards, trying to force him into a mistake. And now we come to the carousel, probably the most recognisable part of this circuit. You throw it into the paved area on the inside, let the road cradle you round and wait, watch his right foot there on the inputs, and bam, on the front on the exit, and that's it through. I love that corner so much. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those corners when you get it right, it's really rewarding. When you get it really wrong,
you get fired out the top.
Exactly, you're straight into the barrier, to the scene of the accident, aren't you? So let's see what will happen with this battle between Lukovski and Mariglino. This is very, very exciting stuff. We're only on the first lap, don't forget. We've got another tour of this track to do. You can see the Italian commentators in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen very briefly there, looking pretty animated at Mariglino.
I mean, usually they're jumping up and down. I think maybe they've been told to be quiet. But there is Mariglino. So there's not really anywhere to pass in this section. The back section of the northern loop on the north side is just one of the best in the world. It's all about confidence, all about bravery. A driver who knows his part of the circuit well and has confidence in his machine will make up a lot of time through here. So we'll see what the difference is between Lukovski and Mariglino through this section.
Down in towards the right hand, Lukovski taking a bit of a wider line, bit of a tighter line there for Mariglino. So the top four now beginning to close back up once again. It splintered out just a couple of moments ago, and now as we get in towards the latter part of this lap, it begins to close up ever so slightly, and Andrew Brooks is also coming with them as well. So it's gone from being a top two scrap a few quarters ago to now a top four scrap and potentially even top five scrap if the Canadian driver on the back there in the white machine can get himself onto the rear of them.
Well, you see, that's what happens, Tom, when you start scrapping, is you just slow yourself down. Of course, at this point in the race, you want to be trying to make as big a gap as possible to the guys behind. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But at this point, you can see Brooks is actually being given a bit of a break, really, and allowed to, close back up again. The words there, Tom, they're coming out.
Put your teeth back in, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're coming onto the back straight now, so that'd be interesting. Brooks is ideally in a decent position, actually, because he's just thrown off behind to get a decent slipstream, but he'll carry that all the way down. He'll have 4 cars in front, creating a hole in the air for him. So let's see how this pans out.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is going to be Slipstream City coming down that straight, as you say, just through the mini carousel there, through the left-hander, and then coming in towards the right-hander. You can see a bit of a penalty there still for Beauvoir. That's where he's going to serve that penalty coming on to this back straight. And they're not too far away. They're still relatively within touching distance, but here is the Slipstream, and Lukovski is surely going to be a bit of a sitting duck, and he's run a little bit wide. That won't be helping his momentum onto this straight. And you can see there Mariglino is in the Slipstream, as is Koke Lopez of Mariglino, and subsequently the rest of the field down. And here he comes. He's going to go towards the inside. And the thing is here, Lukovski can try and defend, but it's going to be absolutely pointless. The straight is so long that he's not going to be able to do anything. The best thing he can do is duck back into the Slipstream and continue picking up speed.
The thing is, you don't necessarily want to be leading coming onto the back straight on the last lap. It's all that's a bit of a game of chess there. So Lukovski's behind. He pulls back out of the toe there. Actually gives Mariglino a little bit of a bump there, so maybe just trying to keep out of the hands of Koke Lopez with the draft behind. So right now, it's Mariglino, our new leader, then Lukowski in second, Lopez third, and Yamanaka in fourth. Brooks has closed up a little bit back there in the white Supra, but still not quite with it. Did Lopez go for a move there? No, I thought I saw him go up the inside there, which would be very cocky Lopez, to be honest. But so end of the lap, Maraglino leads across the line, but Lukowski has the toe coming down on T1, and T1's one of the best overtaking spots on the circuit. Maraglino goes defensive coming across the line to start that second lap. Lukowski side by side, then mirror to mirror now coming down to T1. Who's going to be better on the brakes? So they're both on the brakes at the same time. Lukowski's on the outside though. That's a bad line unless he can get alongside and keep it there. And Maraglino's going to squeeze him. Lukowski's right on the inside, pushes him out wide, and Lukowski retakes the lead. What an audacious move there from Lukowski.
Just about racing room, and all the while those top two have been scrapping. Andrew Brooks has been coming up to the back of them as well, so it now does become a top 5 scrap for the race lead on this, the final lap, and Maraglino is going around the outside of Lukowski. He's going to have the inside line for the following right-hander. He's got the move done, and keep an eye out for Koke Lopez versus Yamanaka in third position as well. Look at the Italian commentators. There they are. They're nice and animated. Exactly what we like to see. I tell you what, Andrea on the right-hand side there, he's going to be having kittens by the end of this one.
Yeah, someone get that man a whiskey. He needs it. So here we go. So, oh man, Maraglino goes wide there at the hairpin. Lukowski there on the inside with 2 by 2 behind as well. Lopez and Yamanaka side by side. Now coming up the Schumacher S. It's only one at a time through here, boys. Be careful. Lopez, no, he's forced out wide by Yamanaka. They're still side by side.
Oh, Lopez
on the gravel. Down contact. Here comes Brooks now. He threads little no contact with the back of Lopez, but he has the inside line here. Can Brooks get on the inside? I think no, he can't quite manage it, and Lopez holds third somehow, but Yamanaka demoted down to 5th position.
Well, very, very big drama. You got your breath back there, Jimmy, because I tell you what, you're going to need it on this, the final lap, if that was anything to go by. We've still got a good few miles left to go here at the Nordschleife. We're about to come on to that northern loop part of the track, and this is where it's going to get very interesting because, as we mentioned earlier on, very much single file going through there. It's a case of when you strike and how you strike as well. So let's keep an eye on it and see how things go. I tell you, he was having a bit of a disappointing race there, Jimmy. He's actually Fabian Portilla down in 7th position. Expected a bit more from the Chilean driver here.
Well, it depends if Kevin and Portilla can close up to the back of this pack, because we are starting to get to that point now. If you look down at the back of your picture, there is Portilla at the back there. So we are starting to come back together now as the drivers come back on to the Nordschleife for the second and last time. And right now, I think, Tom, the gloves are off. Everyone's getting a little bit aggressive, and they go, right, this is the last lap. This is our opportunity to make these overtakes work if we can. And of course, look at that, closing right up to the back, nearly destroying our camera there. Be careful, Lukowski.
This is going to be very, very exciting. You can see Maraglino, the Italian driver, on your screen now at the moment. Look at his driving style there. It's, again, very smooth. That's the thing you have to be with these cars. You can't be aggressive. You can't take lots of stabs at the wheel into the corner because it upsets the balance of the car, and especially on these Sport Hard tyres, which now, Jimmy, are going to be looking pretty second-hand, I've got to say. They're going to be wearing a little bit more than they were, and you can see there as well, Koke Lopez, I should say, being under investigation.
Well, at the S when he came back on the circuit, didn't quite stay on the power. But anyway, we'll get to that when we know more about it. So here is actually an opportunity to pass if you are closer. So Lukowski is pretty close to Maraglino here. It's hard to go side by side, but he might have a stab at it. We'll have to wait and see. Yamanaka now. Here's the view from the Samurai, as the Italians referred to him as. He won't be happy now. He's been demoted from 4th to 5th. You can see how you throw the car into the corner sideways at 220 kilometers an hour. It's about 140 mile an hour for you American guys in the audience. So you can see these guys definitely not short of bravery. Now we go plummeting back down the hill again. And Yamanaka having a much better exit than Brooks did down there, but nowhere to go, Tom.
No, absolutely not. And here is Yamanaka then in the slipstream of Andrew Brooks. He's going to try and find his way past, but it's so much one at a time through here that I dare say he's going to be at a little bit of a pinch to try and do so, and sensibly he opts to back out of that move, brakes a little bit earlier. He's all over the back of him like a bad rash though, trying to find his way through, and the race lead is still looking pretty menacing there as well. So let's keep an eye out as things go. I have to apologise also to Cy Bishop. I mentioned he was Australian earlier on. Of course, he's from New Zealand, and I'll get absolutely slaughtered after this one for that.
I get that all the time. They'll at the last Asia Oceania final, people come up to me after and say, Jimmy, you got it wrong. I'm sorry, I tried my best. We'll come back to this, and Maraglino still defending there from Cody Lukowski.
Some penalties that are handed out behind there, Jimmy, as well. So let's keep an eye on that. And it looks like, yeah, it is Portilla that's been given a penalty, so his race, sadly, going from bad to worse.
Oh, in the background there, Yamanaka sending it up the inside of Andrew Brooks, who's then basically shoved into the barrier. So I'm not sure if there was contact there or Brooks just went in a little bit too hard, but we know Yamanaka has a bit of an aggressive streak there. But what that means now is that our fight for the win is effectively down to 3 cars. You can see on your screen the Maragino, Latkovsky and Lopez, unless Yamanaka can get back on to the end of the pack. Maragino wide there at the hairpin. That's going to give Latkovsky a good run down there. So here's a replay of what happened, Tom.
Yeah, let's see. He's up the inside, Yamanaka, of Andrew Brooks here. He's on the inside line, on the outside line for the next corner. Brooks runs it a little bit hot there. Run out of room ever so slightly, but I wouldn't say that was particularly that unfair from Yamanaka. And here's the next incident. Well, there was a bit of contact, yeah. That was a bit more unfair, you're right.
Bit of hip and shoulder there from Yamanaka, something we're used to in these events, I'd say. But it does seem that Maragino is actually holding up this little pack at the moment. And in the background, did Yamanaka get a penalty there, Tom? Did I see that?
I'm not entirely did. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he has been awarded a half-second penalty then, and that's where he'll serve it onto that straight as well, which is exactly where you don't need it.
So Yamanaka is effectively out of contention now, unless he gets some sort of megato down the straight, but which means that Maragino, Latkovsky and the Lopez are our contenders right now. Now I wonder if Latkovsky is going to try and get past before we get to the back straight. Of course, we know we don't really want to be leading going on to the back straight, but if you can make a gap through the last section, you haven't really got to worry about it. That is a challenge here. And Latkovsky right up the exhaust there of Maragino, coming up the hill, almost pushing him up there. We come through this very fast left-hander. Usually it's flat in race cars, far from it in these GR Supras, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely right. This is very exciting. Riding on board now with the Australian of Cody Latkovsky. He's all over the back of him, and I tell you what, we can see him from our commentary position. He's looking pretty calm, pretty cool and pretty collected. And yeah, look at the mirror signal manoeuvre as well from Koke Lopez, who's trying to find his way past. He's got a mirror full of pink Supra here as they come in towards this carousel section. Maraglino's a little bit wide there, but he should be able to hold on to that line going into this carousel section. Let's keep an eye out, see if Latkovsky is going to think about it. He's got one hand off the wheel. He looks so calm, like he's taking a Sunday drive out.
I'd be shaking though. I would be going like super tense on the wheel right now, like, no, I'm getting past it. These guys just seem so chill. Maragino there actually showing a little bit of a slide there, so maybe he's starting to feel the pressure slightly from the Australian driver. And Kevlam, interesting, Kevlam here might be on to get into 4th position. In fact, he will be, because Yamanaka's going to have a penalty. And if he can get by and get onto the back of Lopez, he could be someone to watch out for. The Dutch driver sitting currently in 5th position. Now, one last time through the back section of the Nordschleife. All about hitting your marks through here. Who's going to do it better, Maragino or Latkovsky? Let's find out.
Well, we were talking about this being a potential 3-way scrap for the race lead. I know the drivers have got penalties, such as Yamanaka and Portilla. However, it's potentially going to be a 5-way scrap as Latkovsky just runs out of road there on the outside. And now this is coming in towards the section where it's going to count. This is where you want to be exactly behind your rival as they get ready to come onto the Dossingahur, onto that straight. And that is where the slipstream will be coming into effect. And we could see Koke Lopez, who's been a little bit quiet, it's got to be said, on this lap. He's been very close behind Latkovsky, but he hasn't been making any audacious moves. Maybe he's just been biding his time and getting himself ready for that very long straight.
Yeah, all about the move now, positioning your car in the right position. It seems these guys are going to be connected all the way through this last section, so it's going to be all about where you are coming onto the back straight. You see Yamanaka there and Lopez's mirrors. Oh, there he is, popping out there, the blue car in the back. He's looking to the right, coming through the right-hander. He thought about it, I think, background, then thought better of it. But this is going to be hard to call. I'm wondering what the strategy is going to be for Maragino right now, because right now, he doesn't want to be at the lead of that pack.
No, he certainly does not. That is the last place you want to be. And as they come on into the straight, Latkovsky's wide. He runs wide, and here comes Lopez down the inside. What a move there from Koke Lopez. And Latkovsky is still wide. Oh, big drama there as well. And also Kevelham has managed to get through. So Latkovsky has gone from potentially battling for the race lead down to 5th position right at the very end of this race. He's got a chance to try and use the slipstream, but he's going to be out of contention surely for the race victory here, Jimmy.
I think Lopez there saw the opportunity and just kind of sent it, and maybe a little bit of contact there. We didn't quite see the full story, but heartbreak there for Latkovsky, forced off the circuit onto the grass.
Oh, Lopez, look at the fishtailing he's doing. Let's see what happened then. Was it just a mistake from Latkovsky? He's right behind Maraglino. Yep, he just runs out of room, runs out of road. Lopez says, thank you very much.
No.
Well, that was... it's a very close judgment call, that as well.
We'll see. Luckily, our motor stewards haven't got to worry about that. But what that allowed Maraglino to do on the exit there is get away from Lopez. He's out the stream now. It's just drive to the line for the Italian driver, and the fight is going to be going on behind him. I think no, it's Lopez, and then Kevelim in third position. Lukowski is starting to come back there. He might end up in fourth if we can get the toe off Yamanaka, but he's going to be so disappointed with that, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely right there. It's a case of what could have been for the Australian driver. And Mariglino, as you said, Jimmy, well, the last thing we expected was for that to end up in that way, as in with Mariglino ending up leading onto that back straight and then subsequently managing to hold on to that lead down the straight. However, it's proven to be an absolutely brilliant piece of driving from the Italian. He has been absolutely faultless in his performance, and he comes over the line to take victory in the Toyota GR GT Supra Cup exhibition final here at the Nürburgring. Mariglino wins, Lopez in second, and the Dutchman, Kevelim, right against all the odds, right at the very end of that, takes third position. Yamanaka in fourth. Lukowski finishes a very dejected fifth position. Then Portia, Beauvoir, Kawakami as well as we look further down the order. And I tell you what, well, Mariglino, he's not showing too much emotion there, but that was a very, very impressive performance and a nice thumbs up from the Italian commentators here.
They like it.
At the Nürburgring. Well, absolutely no doubt they like it. You're completely right.
So here we have right now, you guys can't see it on the screen right now, but Lopez and Lukowski having a bit of a word with each other. I think that it's just wrong place, wrong time at the moment, as you can probably imagine. You can see they're being explained, but Lukowski understandably a little bit dejected with that.
Yamanaka also
racing.
getting involved.
That's racing though, isn't it?
It is, and also they've got to bear in mind there's very much a heat of the moment thing as well. Let's be honest, you know, drivers who, you know, there is that heat of the moment thing where it's the end of a race. There's been an incident like that, emotions are running high, and afterwards they're generally all friends again. Let's be honest.
I think the term is just got to send it.
Yeah, absolutely right, and that is exactly what Lopez did. He took advantage where others faltered, and that was a very, very impressive performance. I have to say, what a great race that was. Such drama, such tension throughout it.
It's a bit of a shame about Yamanaka, really. That penalty kind of took him out of contention. I think just getting a little bit rough with Andrew Brooks there coming down in midway through the northern loop. But again, it's just the last lap, right, I've got to get through, I've got to do it now. And sometimes you get a little bit too over-enthusiastic and you forget you're on sports hard tyres and you aren't going to make the corner if you send it in too hard.
No, that is it, exactly right. It's one of those things, isn't it? You know, it's a learning lesson, and at the end of the day, it was a great race and everybody involved looked like they had great fun as well.
That's the important thing, isn't it? And again, the joy of this league, this GR Supra Cup, is that all in equal cars. So you can see, you know, the talent of the drivers shine through, especially in that last sector here. I always go on about the last sector of a Nordschleife, but that's where we saw the fast drivers shine. Anyway, we're going to pop to some replays now and go back to the best moments.
Yep, let's have a look. This was down towards the first corner. Lukowski with the inside line. Mariglino trying to take the long way around. He was looking pretty aggressive in the early stages. Didn't have the opportunity to take the lead at that particular point in the lap as a few positions changed earlier on. Then Koke Lopez was in the lead. He ran a little bit wide. That allowed Lukowski to come back through. And this is where things got very interesting around halfway through that first lap, Jimmy.
Yeah, everyone was kind of vying for position there. We had Mariglino and Lukowski going side by side all the way through the first part of the GP circuit. We thought that Lukowski was going to take it, but Mariglino sent it round the outside of the left-hander, put him on the inside for the right, and took the lead. It was a great move there by the Italian driver.
You can see a round of applause from the audience there. That was Lukowski running wide. This is the pivotal moment there for the Australian in that race, wasn't it there, Jimmy? He just ran a little bit wide. Koke Lopez said, thank you very much, came back through, and, well, there was no investigation from the steward, so they deemed that to be okay.
I think maybe it was six of one, half dozen of another there. We had the rejoined by Lukowski, Lopez being just a little bit enthusiastic, and that was the end result. But here are the final standings. Of course, Mariglino taking the win in first there, Lopez second, and Kevelim, an outside bet there, taking rounding off the podium in third.
Yeah, very impressive stuff from the Dutchman. You can't dispel that, rather, I should say. Yamanaka there in fourth position, Lukowski in fifth, Portia with a disappointing race. He came good towards the end, but having that penalty sadly put pay to him getting any kind of a strong result, really, more than anything. And then we've got Beauvoir, Kawakami, and Andrew Brooks, Ty Bishop, Bruzzi, and then Danny Solis. So then, we do have our podium finishers to award the trophies to, and we're getting ready then for our top three. So then, let's welcome on stage, presenting the trophy, Tetsuya Tada, presenting the trophy to the third place finisher of Rick Kevelim from the Netherlands. And he looks pretty pleased with that, does the Dutchman. And then we have our second place trophy being presented. A brilliant race it was for Koke Lopez. He didn't quite take the victory, but he finishes on the second step of the podium. And then we have our race winner, Salvatore Maraglino. Very impressive stuff, and thank you to Tetsuya Tada. And now, everybody, please be upstanding for the national anthem of Italy. Ladies and gentlemen, your top three finishers in the Toyota GT GR Supra Cup exhibition race here at the Nürburgring. Very, very impressive stuff. I tell you what, Jimmy, let's just take a few moments just to go through that race. There was drama from start to finish. It was always going to be the case. And, well, you said about the equal cars, equal performance, drivers being the main thing. It didn't disappoint, did it?
I was rather interested to see Lopez have that step up the inside in the first lap, and Maraglino kind of went against him in the end. But that's how the racing is here. And you talked just how tight it is, around here. It's very hard to put a move on someone in front if they're in equal machinery, which kind of makes it a bit more interesting when it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, what were the key moments for yourself in that race? What would you say was the defining one for you?
Well, the defining one, obviously, is where
it's a silly question, isn't it?
Yeah. A little bit wide, and then Lopez sneaks on through. But I think some of the penalties, really, I mean, in particular, Yamanaka, I think that he could have been a bit more of a presence in that race if he hadn't had the penalty. Same with Portier as well. I was wondering where he was for the entire race. Kind of snuck into sixth in the end, but a driver that I really expected to be a bit higher in that, but just didn't come off for him, did it?
No, absolutely not. You're absolutely right there. It was a very interesting race. Lots of great drama taking place over the course of that one. And I'll tell you what, if it does set up what is going to be a fantastic series, the Toyota GR GT Supra Cup, well, then we are in for an absolute treat, aren't we? We've commentated on some racing before that, but this is the first one we've had at the World Tour event. It's been mega.
I always find it interesting, the racing of the road cars, because they just move around a lot more. There's a lot more room for driver skill and precision in that, because you have a car which really reacts better to having a little bit of slide going through the corners. You saw it at coming down to Arenberg. You're sideways all the way down there and heavy on the brakes, and in a race car, it's just easy all the way through. In that, it's a proper whoa.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
It's part of the appeal, I think, of this.
Yeah, it really is. And I tell you what, there was such a great appeal there, wasn't there? And this Toyota GT Supra, we've speaking about it, we've spoken to Mr. Supra as well, finding out a little bit more about this car. It's a really fantastic bit of machinery, isn't it? We're so lucky to be able to have one actually over here at the GT World Tour, and we're actually going to go over to Julia now, who's standing right by that with our race winner, I think.
Well, yes, that was an intense race there. Unbelievable, the huge queue of cars there, and obviously the fight until the very, very end. So what I want to know from this young man here is, how do you keep your cool? Because obviously, Cody Lukovsky, at some point, kind of got overtaken, kind of lost his cool there, didn't quite make it through. How do you keep your cool when all the pressure is on behind you?
Come hai tenuto la concentrazione con Cody Lukovsky, che dietro ha tentato in tutti i modi di sorpassarti?
Sì, è stato difficile, ma li ho tenuti dietro, sono riuscito ad avere un po' di vantaggio sull'ultimo rettilineo e sono riuscito a vincere.
It was difficult, but I took a little advantage at the end of the race, so it's cool. It was cool. And,
it's just cool. It's cool. And how did the car feel?
Com'è la sensazione? Qual è la sensazione?
Beh, è la prima volta che vinco un evento live e sono senza parole. Sono davvero contento e non ho parole per descrivere questo momento adesso.
Speechless. I'm so proud. It's my first time here and I'm very happy.
Well, that was going to be my next question. It's your first time being part of, the GT family. Have you felt everyone to be is it quite welcoming community to be part of?
Sei orgoglioso di far parte di questa nuova comunità per la prima volta, GT Sport?
Sì, sono molto orgoglioso perché Gran Turismo offre una grande possibilità e ne sono molto contento.
It's a great opportunity for me and I'm very, very happy and proud to be part of the community of GT Sport.
Oh, amazing. Well, we're happy to have you, and a big round of applause again for our winner. We're going to chuck it back to the desk.
Yes, I'm joined by Kazunori Yamauchi and Tetsuya Tada. First of all, Tada-san, what a fantastic race. That was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
はいはい、もう本当に熱いバトルでね、スーパラのパフォーマンスを最高に、発揮して戦ってくれて、とってもエキサイティングでした。
That was really exciting race. I could see that full of the performance of this car has been, could see on this race. That was really good.
Fantastic. And Yamauchi-san, what are your thoughts after that first race?
もうみんなすごいドライバーなんで、ほとんど差がつかないんですよね。でも皆さんの運転を見ていてね、もうとにかく運転が丁寧なのに感動しました。
Yeah, so these are all incredible drivers here with us today, and it's really hard to make out a difference between the drivers on the track, but you can really tell that these guys are really, really careful and really, really smooth on the track.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant to hear from yourself, Yamauchi-san, and yourself, Tada-san. Thank you so much for joining us up here on the GT desk. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for your company at home. Thank you for your company here at the Nürburgring as well. From the Toyota GR GT Supra Cup, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. First, second, and third over to the supercar, please. First, second.